this video, I'm gonna reveal my secret formula to become a chess god. Now, I'm not a chess god myself. I'm, barely even 800 or 900 rated player, but I never really spent very much time with chess until recently. I've been just kind of messing around with it to see if I could figure out any sort of tricks and exploitations, since I tend to specialize in exploitation. But since I'm so good with theory and exploitation, I feel as though it's my duty to pass on what I figured out so that potentially maybe somebody with greater chess skills can use my exploitations to their advantage. Um, because I basically figured out what is actually kind of happening with chess. I mean, the basic principles. So, what's happening with chess, it's actually pretty cool. Let's just say that those two lines is, side A and side B. So on one side and the other. So what's happening is on this side, you know, white is starting with their army in the middle of nowhere, okay? Black, they're starting with their army in the middle of nowhere. So the entire weakness to when everybody first starts off in the middle of a chess game is both armies are in the middle of nowhere. So the whole purpose of the game is to get out of the middle of nowhere. Because remember, when you're in the middle of nowhere, you're a sitting duck. There's you basically have to get yourself into position. So that's what makes it so fun is both sides are starting off in the middle of nowhere. Like you're basically looking at one person in a forest where nobody knows where each other's at, and another person on the other side of the forest, and then both sides are in the middle of nowhere. So the the one who's going to lose is the one who is left behind, the one who is doesn't get out. You have to get out from the middle of nowhere because you're both in the middle of nowhere. So both sides are fairly equally disadvantaged with being in the middle of nowhere. So whoever gets out of the middle of nowhere first and the fastest, that's what grandmasters do. They realize on how the dynamic of the game works, on how to control the action, control the center. The reason controlling the center is one of the biggest theories and concepts of the game is because when you're in the middle of nowhere and then somebody's your goal of when you're getting out of the middle of nowhere is to advance, to send forth. So when white is sending forth their army, getting out of the middle of nowhere, um, it's black's duty to basically get in the middle of their ways. So you have to basically, as black, you kind of have to follow white because you have to always get in their way, get in the middle of what they're doing. You can't ever let them get away with what they're trying to do because you have to get in the middle of their way. So black's duty, so the way the entire power of chess works, and if the greatest chess players in the world hear this theory, I guarantee they will naturally see deeper analysis and understanding with their gameplay. So there are two different duties on when you're playing chess: when you start as white and when you start as black. So white's duty is to get ahead of black. So the way that works is white white's job is to try to make sure that black doesn't figure out where white is going to go, where white is going to set up. So as white, your job is to always try to trick black from where you're going to go because that's black's job. Black's job is to try to figure out where is white going to go. So when both chess masters are playing perfectly, it's always going to be equal and opposite both at all times. White is always going to try to get into a position where black didn't realize what was going on, where they were going. Because the weakness starts to develop in black when black is basically is not in the middle of the way, does not block. So that's what happens to the person who ends up losing the match. They did not block because they did not see what the other person was going to do. But it always first starts off with white having the aggression. So black could eventually take the aggression to where white would have to start blocking, but that would just be a matter of if white allows for black to get ahead, and then it would switch sides theoretically. So as a grandmaster, that's your strongest principality, is you're always trying to get in the middle of the way, and you're always trying to get in the middle of what they aren't going to be able to block. So as white, you want to basically be as unpredictable as possible because you don't want them to know what you're going to do. See, if black doesn't know what you're going to do, they cannot defend the attack. So if they figure out what you're going to do, they will be able to defend the attack. So I hope anybody that's good with chess is able to use this, and good luck. Hope everybody enjoys that